What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to tonight's late night agenda. And there is obviously going to be only one topic we cover tonight, and that is Liverpool's ending of their pursuit or not of Jude Bellingham. Now, I'm going to take you through what has happened over the last 24 hours. It's been a real mixed bag. So we'll start off by breaking down what I've said all along. Then we'll have a look at what happened yesterday. We'll go through the media outlets today, see what the papers are saying, see what the journalists are saying, and see if we can't piece this all together and get a real view of where we currently are. So let me start off, I guess, by saying thank you again for all of you who've stuck with us over the past 24 hours. It has been mayhem. Now, I don't remember a 24-hour period quite like this since the Super League fiasco, and it's just been 24 hours of non-stop changing of angles, changing of stories, changing of narratives, and it's hard to know what to believe and what not to believe, right? So I guess together we can hopefully try to figure this out. So I want you to do what you always do. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Drop a like on the video, and of course hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so. So I guess I should start off by clearing up my side of things, right? I've seen a lot said and written over the last 24 hours about myself. People on TikTok making funny little videos, trying to undermine me and trying to belittle me. And look, I get it. That's the game. That's the industry we're in. But what I will say is every piece of information that I said, I stand over and believe is 100% correct. So let's look at what I actually said. I said that Jude Bellingham wants Liverpool, that Liverpool want Jude Bellingham, that we are his first choice, and that if FSG pay the money, he'll be a Liverpool player. And every single part of that is correct. Whatever way you think this situation is going or going to go, look at what's happened over the last 24 hours. So, from the German side, from the likes of Jan Fjorthoff and a few others, it was put out yesterday that Liverpool made a bid of about £84 million for Jude Bellingham. Now, if we can park this up at this junction just for a second, if I'm wrong, and if we weren't in after Bellingham, and if Bellingham didn't want us, why would the club put a bid in? The club wouldn't put a bid in unless they knew the player wanted to come. And even more strangely, I would have believed that they wouldn't have put a bid in if they thought it wasn't around the ballpark of where Borussia Dortmund would accept. Now, of course, first offers very rarely accepted, and you would expect to go back to the negotiating table. But instead, what we seen was to a man and woman within 10-15 minutes of each other, all the top journalists in the UK clearly being briefed from Liverpool that they're walking away from negotiations and that this deal is dead and they're moving on to other targets. This doesn't make any sense. It makes zero sense to me. And here's why. If you are indeed walking away from any negotiations in your Liverpool Football Club, why do you feel the need to tell the journalists? You didn't tell the journalists on any other deal that you walked away from. Probably because, and again, this is just my take on it, it isn't over. Why? What's the upside of Liverpool briefing journalists that they're moving on? There is none. It again allows other clubs to know we're more desperate now to get midfield targets, and they can probably put their valuations up on those targets because Liverpool can't cry poor mouth. Also, Jude Bellingham has made it very clear to anybody who knows Jude or is inside his camp or is in and around Bellingham where his preference is. All this stuff from the likes of Matteo Moretto that I've seen today saying Liverpool have known for 2 weeks that Bellingham has chosen somebody else. It's just lies. It's just not true. So let's wait and see what happens. Do I think that this is over? Not by a long shot. Do I think we absolutely get Bellingham? Well, no. I can't say that because of the very caveat I've given you all along. I don't know that FSG will pony up the dough. What I can say is this whole situation kind of rings true to what happened with Alisson, what happened with Virgil van Dijk, and Thiago to a lesser extent as well. Do you remember similar stories from similar credible journalists and the ones who were tweeting yesterday and posting to say that we've walked away? Very, very credible journalists. I've said many times, when Paul Joyce tweets, we listen. When James Pearce tweets, we listen. When David Ornstein tweets, we listen. And we listen because of their credibility and because we know that they have sources and contacts at the club. But again, I ask, why would the club want to brief? When have the club ever briefed about any of our transfer activity under Jurgen Klopp? When? We don't. We do it behind the scenes, we do it quietly, and we do it ruthlessly most of the time, to be fair, and get it over the line. On this one, I firmly believe this is a negotiating tactic from Liverpool. And think about it this way as well, because I know that loads of people view this differently and will be coming back at me. What I'm going to say is, if you're Borussia Dortmund right now, you've got to be careful. Because yes, there's no termination clause or buyout clause in Bellingham's contract. But if you start to make it very difficult for players like Jude Bellingham, who will have expressly told Dortmund where he wanted to go, if you make it difficult for players like Jude to then make that next step in their career, and we're not talking about Dortmund being shortchanged here, that offer that went in yesterday was about €100 million. That's hardly chump change. And again, the figures that I think this would be done for is about 120. Now, you'll see other things today to suggest that PSG, Manchester City, Real Madrid have come in and they've upped the price. That doesn't even tally with what some of the Madrid journalists have been saying about Madrid thinking the 150 million is too much. Now, to go back to the stuff around Borussia Dortmund, if Borussia Dortmund make this complicated, and remember, they made the Jadon Sancho move to Manchester United very, very tough for the player, for United, and for all parties concerned. If they begin to get a reputation for doing exactly the same thing to all of these prodigious young talents that go over there to play, they're going to lose that niche. They're going to lose the ability to attract these players because the players will want one of two things: a guaranteed buyout clause at a reasonable amount, or that they are able to walk away if an offer comes in from X, Y, or Z club. It isn't in Dortmund's interest to drag this out over and over because it's a bad look on them. They are no longer the stepping stone club. They are no longer the club who brings in these great young talents, gives them Champions League football, gives them Bundesliga experience, and then makes a very, very healthy profit when they move on. So I think this isn't over. And another reason, by the way, I think it's not over, and I've got to keep giving you many and many, I've yet to see anything from any of the Madrid side or anything like that to say that they're confident that they've got their man. And remember, they would be very quick to go to the media if they did. Look at other situations with Mbappe and previous ones. They're not shy about gloating when they feel like they've got something done. Now, with regards to Manchester City, well, it's been put out there today by other people, not just me, many other journalists, to say that he's no interest in going to Manchester City or PSG because he wants a club with prestige. All the things I've told you about previously. I think this is a negotiating tactic. I'm not saying we absolutely get Jude, but I'm standing over every word that I've said, and yeah, I'm doubling down on it. Jude wants Liverpool, Liverpool want Jude, but it has to make sense financially. And again, look at the deals for Alisson and Virgil van Dijk. Look at the posts from the likes of Paul Joyce around this. Liverpool are walking away. Liverpool have other targets. What happened? We ended up going back and getting our player. So for me, this is a long way to go yet. I don't think this deal is dead. And again, if it was really dead, we'd see one club coming as the front runner. We'd see one club that where people were saying that Jude Bellingham's likely to go to. We haven't yet seen that. So for Liverpool to then start briefing journalists about all the other players they want, that also doesn't tally with any other summer or any other window we've had. Why all of a sudden now does every journalist know that we want Barella, that we want Mount? Mount, fair enough, that's been in the media quite a bit over the past few weeks because of his Chelsea situation. And Caicedo, the same Caicedo who we said wasn't worth 70 million in January, all of a sudden now we've no problem paying it. And let's look at this again. If you bring in Caicedo, 70 million, Mount, let's say 50 million, that's 120 million. And if you want to add Alexis McAllister to that, or no, not Alexis McAllister, let's go with Barella. Let's say another 60 million. So what's that? 70, 50, that's 180 million pound. I think you get Jude Bellingham for about 100 million pound. You can supplement that with one of those other players, a Mount or a Barella, and still bring in somebody like a Yuri Tielemans. And it still roughly adds up to the same money. And yes, we can talk about wages, and wages are a big factor. And I've seen numbers thrown around of 250, 300 grand a week. But I don't know anybody that's confirmed that that's what Bellingham is asking for. It's all just up in the air stuff yet again. So look, I don't want to fill anybody full of false hope. I don't want to tell anybody anything is definitively going to happen. But I'm telling you right now, this isn't over. There is more twists and turns to come in this. And until Jude Bellingham is holding up another club shirt, I think Liverpool still have one foot in this race. Now it's over to you guys to let me know what you think. If you'd like to come over and join me for more detail, because I will be streaming tonight until about 10 p.m. over on our Twitch channel. You'll find the link to that in the description. There I'll be able to answer more of your questions in person or anything like that. And I'm here to do it. I've always told you, whatever happens in this deal, I'm not going to be hard to find. I'm not going to be hiding away. Those people who like to sit there and mock me because, well, basically they just want to get some clout off my name. They want to try and grow their own brands. That's okay. I understand the game. But ultimately, I'm not going to be hiding. I'm backing down everything I said. I'm backing up everything I said, I should say. And yeah, I believe every word that's come out of my mouth is absolutely spot on. And again, I can't reiterate enough. I think there's more twists and turns to come in this saga. I don't think it'll drag on into July and August, but I do think that Liverpool will come back to the table. And I think that Dortmund also, as I suggested at the start of this video, need to be a little bit careful or they'll lose their own niche as that club that players will go to as a stepping stone to, get their minutes, get their experience and move on to bigger things. So yeah, that's it for me. Now it's over to you guys. And again, if you want to come and ask me any questions live or anything like that, jump over to our Twitch channel. We'll be on there till about 10. Talk to you guys then. Much love. Bye bye.